In the midst of social distancing and business lockdowns, a freelance writer and a graphic artist bought a bus, converted it into a tiny home on wheels, and moved out of our 4-bedroom house. 1 year later, we downsized to a Chevy Express. Now we travel between Texas and Pennsylvania from April through November while exploring small towns with rich histories. In the winter, we hunker down in Texas in our schoolie and dream of our next big trip.
We're Alan and Teresa.
And we're rolling with our nomies. So we're in Bryan, Texas this afternoon, and we're going to do their walking tour. It's a short one, but I think you see some really cool stuff like what we see already. And you can see behind me here this little mural on the wall, the stage center theater, and beautiful little spotlight, gorgeous painting. And a quote from William Shakespeare, "All the world's a stage." Every time I hear that, I think of Rush. All the world's a stage.
Oh, please.
And we are merely
Stop
bliss.
that. Stop
Anyways,
that.
Here we are in Bryan, Texas. Let's go have a look. So we're standing in front of the Aston Mansion, and it's one of the most famous historic homes here in Bryan. Built by Roger Q. Aston in the early 1920s, its design is a mix of Renaissance and other architectural styles. The 2.5-story building features a portico at the main entrance, 2 chimneys, French doors, and other notable design elements. The Aston family was one of the area's most prominent families, and it portrayed an integral role in developing the region. The mansion is now a wedding and event venue and was added to the National Register of Historic Places in 1987. It's currently in use. There are people walking around in there. They got the fireplace lit. So, yeah, it looks pretty cool. Alright, so St. Andrew's Episcopal Church was erected in 1914. It is on the highest spot in downtown Bryan. And if you're walking up the street as we just did, it literally is up the street, and then you look back the other way and it's all down.
Right.
So this is the highest spot in downtown. It's also significant for its architecture and the fact that it is the oldest continuously used church in Bryan. It was designed in the Gothic Revival style, as you can see from the tower there, and features the lancet arched stained glass windows, a large tower, and ornate interior woodwork. Really is pretty. You can tell it's 20th century, but it is, you know, in the Gothic style. You can tell by the tower and the windows. Pretty church. Queen Theater is a historic movie theater located in downtown Bryan, built in 1939, and is a fine example of streamlined modern architecture. It features a somewhat plain appearance with a marquee and a vertical sign topped by a crown, which lights up and rotates up at the top. That's beautiful. Additionally, the building also houses the offices of the Downtown Bryan Association and a Downtown Bryan Visitor Center. And next to it is an old building called the Stafford, which was a theater at one point. May still be. Looks like it is a theater, Stafford Theater. But I don't have any information on what it was historically and when it was built.
Right.
It's a pretty building, though.
It is gorgeous.
All right, so we're at, they're calling it the Carnegie History Center. It's an old Carnegie library. And of course, we know Andrew Carnegie gave money to like 2,500 different libraries across the country.
Evidently, a good number of them are in Texas.
Yeah, this was one of them, evidently, here in Bryan. It is a local history and genealogy research center that is a part of the Bryan and College Station Public Library System. Built in 1903, it was originally known as the Carnegie Public Library, as you can see. It's named after the steel magnate and philanthropist Andrew Carnegie. The two-story building is a fine example of classical revival architecture, featuring a portico on the east side with Corinthian columns. Yeah, nice. Inside, the building features two original matching hand-carved pine stairways. Since they're closed, we can't see those. The center houses a special collection, which contains three different collections: the fire department collection, the Cavett collection, which are personal records of a local prominent family, and the Van Riper collection, which are records of a local professor of political science. The second floor houses the center's genealogical research records. That's a beautiful building. I love those columns.
I really like this little statue.
Yeah, isn't that
set
cool?
Over here. I want to say they intend for that to be Carnegie.
I don't know, maybe. There's a plaque out front. Let's look.
Yeah. Okay, so the plaque just says treasured moments.
And the little girl's holding a book with titled
Little
Women.
Little Women.
And I don't see a title on the book that the man is holding. But there is some writing on the inside. The man who dies thus rich dies disgraced. Some wrote so he believed.
Huh.
By 1919, Andrew Carnegie had given away over $350 million. His last $30 million was distributed to foundations, charities, and pensioners upon his death.
I believe the statue is Andrew Carnegie.
Could very well be.
I believe that it is.
Yeah, you got a picture of him? It probably is. All right, so we're in front of the LaSalle Hotel, which is just a few doors down from Queen Theater and across the street from Carnegie Library. It's located in the center of Bryan's historical downtown area, and it's been and remains to be one of the most significant architectural features of the city. It was named after the infamous French explorer René Robert Cavelier Fleur de la Salle, or more commonly known as Robert de la Salle. Built for prominent businessman of the early 1900s, Robert Wistar Howell, it was designed and constructed by Austin native architect George Louis Walling and completed in 1928. It is unknown exactly why the hotel was named after the French explorer with the same namesake, but the affinity between the pioneering hotel that was unmatched for its time and the distinguished traveler who conquered land to put his country on the map is not to be overlooked.
Well,
It'd be hard to overlook that hotel.
right. But see, the Howell building is right there. So I'm gonna guess that it has some, and that building right here is built by the same Howell that
Or built for the same Howell,
yeah,
or named after him at least.
yeah,
And he may have owned the property.
and
I
it's
don't
a
know.
gorgeous building. The Howell building. The LaSalle is pretty, but this one is absolutely gorgeous.
Temple Frida is one of the oldest religious buildings in Bryan. It's a historic Jewish synagogue erected in 1912. It's also significant in that it is the only Jewish temple in the country named after a woman, Ethel Frida, who was the wife of the congregation's president. She passed away before the temple was completed. The one-story building was designed in the classical revival style and has been an important landmark since its construction. The building features a portico with Corinthian columns, stained glass windows, and a simple interior floor plan.
Well, it's undergoing some reconstruction or
Yeah, right
rehabilitation, so
Yeah,
it does
right.
not have stained glass windows
Yeah.
right now.
So at one time it did, and you can see where they were. But yeah, it looks like they are rehabilitating this.
Okay.
So we're standing in front of St. Anthony's Catholic Church. It's a historic Catholic church built in 1927. Historically significant for its Romanesque revival architecture, an association with the local Italian community, which founded the congregation in 1896. In terms of architecture, the church is 2 stories tall and features stained glass windows, a 2-tiered bell tower.
I didn't see the bell tower.
I don't see a bell tower, but it could be maybe in the back.
Maybe.
Round arched recessed openings above the main entrance and other decorative elements. And we got a nice little statue here behind us.
My guess is that's St. Anthony.
Yeah, and there's another statue across the street.
I guess we're going across the street, folks.
St. Leo Luke.
Right. St. Leo Luke.
Patron saint of Corleone, Sicily.
Oh, okay.
Born in 915 AD in Corleone.
Okay. Well, walk this way so I can get these stained glass windows on this side because they're absolutely gorgeous.
Office building. I don't see a bell tower though.
I don't see a bell tower, but that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It means I don't see it. Oh, okay.
Through the trees.
Yeah, the trees.
If we went around the building, you can see it from over there.
I think we can get it through these trees. We can definitely get these stained glass windows, and if you look right up there, you'll see it.
You get a good view right here between the trees.
Absolutely gorgeous. Let's see if where he thinks we can see it, we can see it. Whoa. Okay, maybe. I mean, I can.
Right through here, you get a good view.
There it is. You can see it up there. Okay. Is that the end of it?
Yeah.
Okay, folks. So.
That's what we got in Bryan, Texas today. 7 historical landmarks, and we hope you enjoyed the show. All right, so we're looking at the first State Bank and Trust Company building here in Bryan. It was erected in 1930, and the first State Bank and Trust occupied the building until 1965 and leasing second-floor office space to professionals. It features carved geometric and foliated relief, indicative of Art Deco architectural style. Chevrons distinguish the base from the walls and beginning of the cornice. The current occupant is Daniel Stark Injury Lawyers. All right, we're looking at the Varisco building here in Bryan. It is the tallest building in downtown Bryan. Developed in 1948 by the Brazos County agriculturalist and developer Iago Brazos Varisco. It is late Art Deco style and features 7 stories of office space. And for more than a decade, the Varisco was home to local companies, startups, tech companies, and even divisions of Fortune 500 companies. It is now being rehabilitated.
To the tune of $8 million.
Right. And when that is done, they'll be leasing out the office space, and they're currently looking for tenants, but they're still working on the rehabilitation. But it's a neat looking building.
It is a neat building.
So this concludes our tour of Bryan, Texas. We added a couple of buildings of our own that weren't on the walking tour, and so I think it came to about 9 buildings or something like that. And sometimes we do our own research if we can find a little information on the buildings that we like to, if they're not already on the walking tour. So anyways, hope you like Bryan, and come back next week to see what else we do. Alright, if I don't do this right, then I'm going to be on the bad side of my wife. So y'all bear with me and pray for me. But while you're doing that, don't forget, share us with your friends, like us if you like us if you don't, subscribe to the channel. It helps us out. God bless.